This is Nick. You're listening to the DU Football Show, Drunkard United. Of course, up the blades and fuck the owls.
Hey, whoa, this is new. I mean, now you're looking pensive and disappointed, but you're not looking in your phone. You're actually looking me in the eye.
I want to look at my phone, though, just to piss you off, but I decided to be a good boy.
Well, you need to be partners. That's how this works, and that's how you're able to say, let's start the show. I did it too early. Hello and welcome to the Drunkard United Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me is the disappointed he couldn't look at his phone, Samuel Graham. Sammy, how are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. A little chilly.
You know, it's not the first time he told me he hit it too early. I'm already hitting the mute button, aren't I?
Yes.
Damn.
Without me telling you.
You know,
because
what's funny,
you've learned.
What's funny is
Yes.
before we hit record, I thought y'all were going to start making out or something with the rubs me down when I have a Charlie horse and this, that, the other. And giving each other a little bit of praise here or there. And then now, all of a sudden, we switch the mics go hot and fuck that, it's over.
Well, I gave you praise too, so settle down. We're recording at Studio H, just outside our nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review where you can, and most importantly, share with your fellow footballing friends. Should you want to get in touch with us, there is many ways that you can. I'm sorry, Sammy, tell the good people.
Well, they could get in touch too.
Yeah, how they can get in
sure,
touch.
they can get in touch with us on social media at DUfootballshow on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then DUfootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email. Which I hear that we got a pretty nice email, and then one that was described without any descriptors.
Well, I'll
Then it
unhit
wasn't
the,
described,
Oh, wait,
I
I'm
guess.
sorry, I have to ask permission. Mr. Houston, sir, may I unhit the mute button to sing your praises through a fan email?
Next time I would prefer to be referred to as Dear Lord Master. And why, yes,
Dear Lord Master.
You want me to do it?
When it's time
my
for you to compliment us, by all means, I want you
Do you
to
want
talk.
me to do it, Mel?
Sure, go ahead.
Sam, fuck off, all right? Mel,
Thank you, sweetheart. I
please,
appreciate that,
please
Graham.
proceed with the lovely email.
All right. So Derek, who is one of our Patreon subscribers, one of our, quote, drunk Uber passengers.
Which you could find at www.patreon.com/DUfootballshow.
Hey, what a great spot for a plug.
Thanks.
So he goes, hey, Mel, can you pass this on to the Sams? I really dig the pod and all the honest, spot-on, and stout analysis the guys present, as well as all the drink recommends provided by the show. Been listening since the beginning of the season and always look forward to the next pod y'all drop each passing week. When listening, just know a hard-earned drink is in hand, as well and as always will be. Just to share, I've been watching the Prem since 2006, and admittedly I practiced this word.
Masochistic
Man United fan. But he's coming to us from Los Angeles and has been a fan of the show since the beginning of this season.
You know, L.A.
Excellent. Well, welcome. And again, thank you very, very much for your support. Appreciate it. And glad to hear you're drinking while we're doing it. That's kind of the point.
Just a word to the wise, though, real quick, Mr. Derek. If you're addressing me through the show email, this is Sam Graham. Use whatever words you see fit. If you are addressing Houston, it needs to be dumbed down just a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you're addressing Mel, however, she does have a literary degree from the university.
I am an English major. I just
have
that word just couldn't. I can't say it. I've used it in real life too before. I got another note for you guys from Taylor. You'll enjoy this one.
Excellent.
I just want to say how much I love that all I have to type into my phone is MAL, and it completes it to the word Malört.
Nice.
Including
Yes.
the little umlaut over the O. Darn, I love you guys from P1 Taylor.
There you go.
Thank you. Excellent. I love it.
Sweet.
Going back to Mitch.
And Taylor actually was the first person to purchase a T-shirt.
Absolutely.
So just shoot us an email with the size, and we'll email you back with the other decisions you need to make, and you can do those too.
Yep, and we have beer koozies as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice on our Instagram, my beer is always in one of them, and we got a sticker we got to send out to Derek as well.
Yep.
So Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirits industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. As the red-blooded Americans we are, we will have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. A little chilly outside, so we decided to bring in a big dog, Islay. What are we
Yeah.
drinking, Sammy?
Classic brand from Islay as well. One of the first that I first started drinking in Laphroaig. This is their triple wood expression. The barrel strength mark of this particular whiskey got 12th in the top 20 from Whiskey Advocate this year. However, we have the standard proof of 96.
Because some dumbass picked up the wrong bottle. Me.
It's all right. It's a damn good whiskey.
It's still really
That's
good.
fine. There are 3 woods that are used here. First is ex-bourbon. Then they transfer that into a quarter cask, which is basically just a smaller cask to increase the liquid to the surface contact, between the liquid and the wood. And then it is finished in an Oloroso sherry cask. It's a big iodine, numb your tongue peat monster. It is fantastic. And the perfect thing for it being sub 30 degrees outside here in our nation's capital.
It's something that I regularly say with Islay whiskeys. I need, snow on the ground or it to be freezing cold.
Yeah.
I want a campfire and I want
In my mouth.
Yeah, and I just like a fire pit outside and I want a
yeah,
cigar
yeah.
in my mouth. And yeah, this is the perfect whiskey for this incredibly, I thought we fixed during sound check problem.
Oh, Jesus
then I had
Christ.
to play it back and listen to it, and I forgot to remute it. So,
Yeah. All right. My producer, everybody.
would you call that live admin?
I'd call it live admin. I'd call it a failure of live admin, then live admin.
And I would call that a failure of the English language when you're talking to me about my things.
Blah, blah, blah.
So how much is this going to run us a bottle?
Yeah, I was just getting to that. $44.99 to $49.99 on the old shelf there.
Excellent. Well, kids, let's have ourselves a hell of a show.
Hey, but first,
Yes.
remember to drink responsibly.
How about that?
It's 2 weeks in a motherfucking row.
Unprompted, too. I'm very proud of you.
Like that?
All right. Of course, Sam, we are going to talk about the Northwest Derby in the first segment. Of course we are.
We have to.
But I can't believe I'm going to say it, but we've got to talk about the save.
Of the season.
Yeah. We're talking about Norwich 1, Bournemouth 0 to open, and then Liverpool 1, Manchester United 0. The great Gordon Banks must have leapt from his grave when he saw this amazing, perfect, pure form of goalkeeping. I used to play goalkeeper, Sam, and
Yeah.
when you dive, typically your natural reaction is to bring your lower arm, but your lower arm doesn't have the right amount of
Doesn't have
stretch
the reach,
to
yeah.
it, right? So, and Steve Cook gets up from the ground,
From a prone position.
yeah, pops up with a great leg, perfect U-shaped curve almost, brings the upper hand across his body to be able to get the hands on it to put the spin to make sure it goes back around the goal. It was a thing of absolute beauty. I don't think any goalkeeper could have ever done better.
Now, here's what my first thought of this is.
Uh-huh.
As you say, Gordon Banks leapt from his grave. I think Jordan Pickford might be sinking in it because his job may be up for grabs here for the Euros.
Yeah,
this summer. Steve Cook in there is your number 2.
So now all we need to do is get Steve
Possibly
Cook to
England number 1.
stop being a defender and start being a goalkeeper,
I did
right?
get a little bit of Jags in there. Jags
Yeah.
went in goal a couple times.
Yeah,
You know?
that's the only problem. I mean, it was beautiful.
Tom
the problem
Heaton's
is
hurt.
he wasn't wearing a goalkeeper jersey when he did it. That's the fucking problem.
Tom Heaton, obviously with the ACL, is not going to be on the train this year because it's all over the place and
I
England
don't
are
know.
playing
Nick,
at home.
Nick Pope had himself a weekend.
Well, Nick Pope had himself a weekend. Jordan Pickford may be in trouble.
Jordan had a good save
Between
against West Ham.
Nick, yeah, but it's against West Ham. It's against West Ham.
We got a bunch of West Ham listeners, and you're going to just insult them all.
Is it that good?
It was a really good save.
Chris is one of our best fans.
I know, which is why I give him so much shit. I only give him shit because I love him.
Yeah, so Steve Cook, the defender, made a really great save in the 30th minute, which was fucking pointless, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Like,
stupid. You have
let
that
the ball
long,
go in.
You have
Let it go in.
You have that long in the game left to claw yourself back. You know, that's a little bit. That's 89th minute and you're holding on type stuff.
Right, and
It's
in that,
stupid. I get it. Sometimes it's just a natural reaction.
right, and
Right,
that's
and you
probably
could-
what he would say.
you could
is
lose
that
your
he
head.
Just
Anybody can lose their head at any moment. It's just a reaction thing. I mean, he looked kind of perplexed at himself afterwards also, the way he was kind of walking around and then shrugged his shoulders at one of his teammates like, I don't know why I did that.
Well, and that's a double jeopardy. I mean, that's a
And a perfectly legitimate reason. It's serious foul
You get
play.
a red.
Yeah.
You get a red. It's a penalty. Like there's nothing you can do about it. And Pookie put that one away easily.
He did. Pookie sent the goalkeeper the wrong way, which wasn't a problem, and they escaped from this game with that win.
Here's one for you, Sam.
But the man advantage didn't do anything for them, really.
well,
to be
it
honest.
wasn't.
They created some chances, but it was pitiful, to be honest.
It wasn't a man advantage forever because, and the
that's
irony
true.
of his name is
Yeah.
not lost on me. Paul Tierney begins a new day for match officials all over England when he used a fucking TV screen on the pitch. How about that? Holy shit. It's a Christmas fucking miracle. He used the fucking television set.
The problem is he was the only one to use the television set, I believe,
Yeah.
over the entirety of the weekend.
But the tackle in that instance was the exact same thing as the Aubameyang tackle.
Yeah, for sure.
It took 30 seconds for him to walk over to the screen, go, ooh. I got that one wrong.
Yeah.
Came back and handed a red card. How
Now,
fucking hard was that?
To be fair,
How hard
on
was that?
Aubameyang, this one was about a second and a half later.
Yeah.
So he had an extra half step before he clattered into Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
And that was Godfrey, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
Tierney was the referee.
That's what I was talking about.
just for
Tierney's the referee.
just for the listeners. But Ben Godfrey on Callum Wilson was the tackle, and it was other than those two moments, it was a pretty drab game, to be fair.
Oh, it's the only reason why we're opening with
but
it is because of those two moments.
That save was glorious.
This save was so
And
amazing.
that tackle was equally as ridiculous as the save. So, Bournemouth are bad. Bournemouth are real bad.
My next note listed here is ready for this. I'm gonna pull it out for you. Is this DEFCON 5 for the cherries?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe, in a post-match interview, kind of scathing on his players. He said, "Yeah, our confidence is completely shot." He said, I believe the players have the belief somewhere inside them, and it needs reigniting, essentially. It's not a direct quote, but that's essentially what he said.
Then what's he gonna do?
I don't know. He said they need a lucky bounce. Their whole Premier League survival rests on a lucky bounce, apparently.
That's not gonna fucking help you.
No, it's not.
No, not at all.
Looks like someone's going to pop the cherries
Da-da-da.
and their hope for the rest of the season.
All right, let's get into it. Gonna have to talk about it.
Thanks, guys.
Liverpool are now 16 points clear with a game in hand of Manchester City, and they're on cruise control, man.
It should have been.
Fucking
It should have
cruise
been 2-0 faster. I don't think that was a foul. Van Dijk on De Gea. Never once looked at him. I don't know how much contact there really was. De Gea's kind of weak in that challenge.
Yeah.
Should have put his knee in his back and didn't. And that's his own fault. He let go of the ball before he even came down, looking and expecting the contact. Referee did not give it. It was VAR that overturned it, and I don't think it was clear and obvious. I think that's bullshit, and Firmino's goal should have stood at the end of that sequence.
No, wasn't that a handball?
No. It was the foul on Van Dijk.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
That's what
I was
they
thinking
called.
about the other one that got called back too. There was another one that got called
Yes.
back. I tend to agree with you that I think there was probably way too much of an overprotection of the keeper.
But there was nothing to protect him from is the problem.
Well, especially here would be my one argument to it is Van Dijk did go into it at like a backward angle. Like it wasn't him jumping straight up in the air. It was him jumping backward, and he knew the goalie was there.
It doesn't matter. He's allowed to go for that ball. It's a 50-50 ball.
Yeah, but he's not going
All
for the
right.
ball at its height.
Here's the age-old question. In the center of the pitch, is that a foul? No, it is not.
Yeah.
So why
Are-
is it a foul in the box?
Are the rules different for a keeper?
Of course they are. They always have been, and I think that's bullshit too.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree.
No, you don't.
no.
You're a goalkeeper.
No, I agree, though, that a keeper, if someone is coming up for him with a 50-50 ball, he should be allowed to put a knee in his fucking back and it not be a foul.
They always do.
Yeah.
They do that. That happens.
Keith,
And I think the referee do that one up. Oh,
Yeah.
God, I'm on fire tonight. Woo!
you are
God damn. Good thing you don't have a sprinkler system. Fuck.
You're somebody grab this man a paper towel. He's sweating himself way too much. So Man U definitely helped by VAR. Man U hustled, right? They hustled, but
They didn't do much with it.
hustle doesn't mean anything when, I mean, frankly,
Without Marcus Rashford, apparently.
you're getting out physicaled all over the pitch. Not just that Van Dijk on De Gea thing. The midfield, like Fred was everywhere. He was running all over the place. Fred was also on the ground a lot because Jordan Henderson would just catch him from behind and run him off the fucking ball.
Yeah, and it was like
put him-
nobody was talking to. It was just just taking way too much time on the ball.
And all of it was no fouls. It was all just out physical,
Just-
put them on
yeah.
their ass, take the ball away, go the other direction.
It was all shoulder to shoulder. It was all fair challenges. And to be fair, Man U wasn't complaining about most of them, to be honest. I did not like all of them, the way they approached the referee after the De Gea Van Dijk incident. De Gea himself, which he did get a yellow for.
Right.
But sprinting after the referee and putting his hands on him.
Yeah, that's not good.
You
Can't do that. Can't do that.
You cannot do that. Obviously, Manchester United finally grew into the game. Statistically, they were fairly even, to be honest.
Oh, they had their chances.
By the
They
end
had
of the
their
game.
chances.
But as I was watching it, just my eye test, it looked like Liverpool was really dominating that game. Just in general, the way they were running Man U off the ball, the way they were pressurizing them and forcing turnovers. They just didn't create a ton of chances from it. But Alisson heads up play.
Yeah.
Mo Salah heads up play. And that ball was excellent that Alisson punted out.
You could tell Mo Salah really wanted that goal.
Oh, yeah, because I
he
think
hadn't-
it
it's
had
his
scored
first
against Manchester
yeah, it's
United.
his first
yeah.
against United.
And obviously their biggest rivals. But Alisson just with a lovely, lovely punt. And Mo Salah realizing he was inside his own half of the pitch, so he wasn't offside.
Yep.
As he began to run past, I think it was Lindelof. And then Daniel James sprinting back, but the young Welshman just not strong enough. And we saw why after Mo Salah took his shirt off.
Yeah.
Not strong enough to knock Salah off the ball. Because he looked like the pharaoh that he is, my friend.
Well, it's you look at Mo and he's got the
Goodness
facial
gracious.
hair and the kind of floppy,
surprisingly
like,
no chest hair.
and you're like, yeah, he kind of looks like he probably has a dad bod. No, he does not.
No.
That man is chiseled out of stone.
Yeah.
he is like the Sphinx. Like it's just wow.
Yeah. But again, you look at his
At what point did this happen? Should I go
92nd
looking for
minute.
it? 92nd
92nd
Yeah,
minute.
right at the end.
Thanks, Graham.
No problem. But again, his arms kind of hairy, his face, his head obviously kind of hairy. If I grew my hair out, him and I would look very similar. And you take my shirt off, and it's like a fucking just train wreck down there.
There's this amazing thing called Nair for Men.
But I don't think he does that. It didn't look all fucked up like Nair normally makes things look.
No, it doesn't do that, Sam.
Yeah, it does.
He has the money. He could afford waxing.
For real shit.
freaking
yeah.
laser shit.
Well, it did something
So
fantastic.
we are wrapped up on Mo Salah's smooth, ripped body, apparently. Something that has been greatly overlooked with Liverpool this season, because everybody wants to talk about Van Dijk's defense and those wingers, the outside backs, and then you talk about those big three strikers up top. Their midfield did the fucking business in this game.
I think Jordan Henderson was voted man of the match, actually.
Jordan Henderson deserves a nod at Player of the fucking Year.
Oh, yeah.
Quietly controlling that entire team.
Him-
It's nothing fancy. It's just good hard work.
Well, on another show we listened to, they made the great point that Van Dijk, you have Wijnaldum and Henderson. You've got any one of the front three could be considered leaders. So you have a leader on every line of that pitch. There's leaders all through the team. Allison is talking like crazy all the time. Van Dijk talking like crazy all the time. Henderson screaming at people. Wijnaldum just through example and his hard work and determination. And then any of the front three can be seen looking at each other, pointing, talking at any moment. And they just have leaders throughout that squad, but they also don't seem to have those egos, right? Where, who the fuck do you think you are talking to me, Jordan Henderson? Look,
Yeah.
what have you done? You're the captain.
Yeah.
Aye, Skip. And keep it moving.
If it's not Henderson, it's Fabinho, who finally got back in from his injury. It's Wijnaldum. It's Oxlade-Chamberlain, who we're always so used to seeing up on the wing with Arsenal playing midfield for them. It's Lallana. It doesn't matter if it's Milner. It does not matter what three people they put in there. They get the job done.
Yep.
And they get the job done when all the credit gets hurled at justifiably so, an incredible strike force and a world-beating defense.
The best defender in the world.
Well, I mean, arguably three of the four best.
Bar none.
When you're looking at their back line. And it doesn't matter who number 4 is, because number 4, as we've seen...
It could be Dejan Lovren, and they still fucking play well.
He plays out of his mind. If it's Matip, he plays out of his mind. It's Gomez, he plays out of his mind. Like, it doesn't matter. It's
And sure, they've gotten the rub of the green. I would venture to say they would still be, maybe not as far ahead, but they would still be in the position they're in, regardless of VAR.
All right, so I'm going to ask these questions, but I'm not going to answer them because just my blue-colored glasses cannot allow me to do this.
Finally giving the listeners a reprieve.
Is this team an invincible?
I try to remove my red-colored glasses, and I hope not.
Yeah.
I'm much more scared than I was with City. Both seasons, I was confident saying City is going to drop a game. And all I can hope to, I think, may be the final game of the season at Newcastle.
How about at Goodison? How great would it be if they had one loss on the year and it was the Merseyside derby
that
at
we were
Goodison?
at?
Yeah, that'd be fabulous.
That'd be fantastic. But they, but Newcastle, remember, when everything was kind of done and dusted, they put Spurs to the stone a few seasons ago.
Yeah.
When it was kind of wrapped up that Leicester won the title.
Right.
And Spurs were, I think, finishing. They were going to finish in second, but I think that game propelled us above them, and they ended up in third, and we finished in second.
Yeah.
And Newcastle put the stones to them, 5-1. So that's really what I'm hoping for is something like that, because they could wrap the title up in March. Now, I think the way Jurgen Klopp is and the ego of the team as a collective growing, I think they're going to want to go unbeaten, and I also think they're going to want to beat the record points total of Man City from a couple seasons ago.
Yeah.
And they're on track to do that.
Are we witnessing the greatest team in Premier League, in English top-flight history?
Yes. I think regardless of...
Are we witnessing one of the greatest teams in the history of Europe?
Yes. Absolutely.
It's insane.
This rivals Pep's original Barcelona iteration. This kind of wrestles with some of those Bayern Munich teams, some of those Juventus teams, some of those Milan teams, those Inter sides of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. This could very well be the greatest club side that has ever played.
Do they have to win more than just the Premier League to do that?
I don't think they'll give a shit, because over the course of a couple of seasons, I think they will win everything that there is to win.
Right.
I think the Premier League, because they themselves have gone so long without it, it's been 30 years now, I think that is the only thing that truly matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They
Agreed.
have, for this season in particular, I don't know who's going to stop them if they can transfer this form into the Champions League, because there was a little bit of a stretch where they had some lulls in their form.
Napoli got at them one time.
Mm-hmm. But if they can rectify that, they're better than anyone in the world at the moment, period. But they still won't get that League Cup.
Heard. Yeah. That would be thanks to Mel's Villa.
That's right.
Laying the boots to the kids.
To the kids, yeah.
That we couldn't
That
do.
you could beat with your full strength team.
Full strength team couldn't do that. So I'm going to bring back a bit from last year, Sam.
Okay.
Who wants to play in Champions League? Because the rest of the league sure as fuck doesn't want to. Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0, Burnley 2, Foxes 1, Spurs 0, Watford 0. Newcastle with the old smash and grab, huh?
That's right. That is absolutely right. A piss poor game. To be honest with you, there was a lot that happened really early on. They were spared. Chelsea was spared blushes by the crossbar, but dominant performances were from them, from Chelsea, was littered with complete wastefulness. Newcastle came forward when they could, but they only managed 2 shots on target total. Dubravka, and rightly so, was named man of the match for the second week running. He played very well. And for all of Chelsea's wastefulness, as is common when that happens, it came back to bite them in the ass when Isaac Hayden scored from a header. Aretha Balaga, in my opinion, should have done much better, as the header was at a comfortable height. But he reached it a bit late and couldn't keep it out.
So when
Longstaff brothers played very well as well.
so something we have constantly said about Chelsea so far this year is they're young. There's a lot of opportunity to improve, and I feel like we give them the excuse of they're young every time they lose.
Yep.
I want to take this into a comparison of NCAA basketball, right? Because a lot of teams in the NCAA will have a lot of freshmen and sophomores to start because of the one and done rule now.
Yep.
So you'll have people will say, oh, this is a young team. They eventually play into it. Normally, by the time they get into their conference schedule, the team starts to mature. They start not to make the mistakes. They start to learn how to play together. When in the fuck is Chelsea going to learn, get past just being young, right? Like when are they going to start to learn how to handle these hurdles that get put in front of them? An ugly match at St. James Park, a tough comeback from a gritty team to pack Salt 10 in. Like when are they going to fucking figure it out?
You know what no one's talking about? And I wonder if defensively, because those kind of flash positions, right? You have nobody in that team that's a poacher.
Right.
You have nobody that's, not Jean Matinho, who's the other one for Wolves? Ruben Neves, that scores 30-yarders, and that's all he does.
Yeah.
There's nobody with any one particular skill that's fantastic, right? They're all good all-around players. Willian, with his skill, can beat people, put a good cross in. Sometimes he can whip in a ball and score, but he's not really known for his goals necessarily.
Right.
Pedro, same way, even though he's
used
fucked
to be
off now.
used to be very good with free kicks, Willian, but hasn't been
taken them,
years.
I don't think, really.
Yeah.
Pulisic's injured, and right at a time when he was starting to play very well. So those flash positions I don't really think is a huge deal. You'll get these ebbs and flows with the young players. You get them with experienced players in those positions as well.
Yeah, of course.
Where they just, the form up and down, very much relying on confidence and instinct in those positions. The smarts of the game, right? The match intelligence, the reading of the game, those things that come with experience happen defensively. Now, there's only one, maybe two young kids that play in that defense fairly frequently. He has no left back. Azpilicueta, who I can't remember ever playing left back for them, is one of the only positions across the back line he hasn't played, started at left back in this game because he has no one that he trusts. The other thing is I wonder how much they trust Aretha Balaga after his display in the League Cup final last year.
Yeah.
Refusing to come off and everything else. A lot of those defensive lapses are happening, and Aretha Balaga is fucking up as the last line of defense. The goalkeeper's errors are the most obvious on the field.
Right.
Like this one, because they almost always directly lead to a goal. When a goalkeeper makes an error, you're fucked. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I wonder how cohesive that unit is at the back because of what happened. If they think he's got too big of an ego, who knows how he acts in the dressing room, whether or not they trust him or he trusts them.
Trying so hard not to fuck up because they don't think their goalie can make a save that they end up fucking up in the process.
Yeah, trying too hard is a very real problem that a lot of Premier League clubs have. Look at Villa, look at Norwich, look at Bournemouth for everything they did.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, for the
I mean,
most part.
Steve Cook's save is
Yeah.
trying too hard, bro.
Yeah. Manchester, back to Manchester United real quick, Maguire and Lindelof and whoever else plays in the center, they know De Gea's not good off the line.
Right.
They try to win every single head ball on a cross.
Yep.
Because they know the keep's not coming. But they also know they don't have to be fully charging at a guy when he takes an outside shot because they know he probably going to save it, that he's
Right.
really good on the line. So it's that how you learn your keeper and how your keeper learns you. I mean, take it back to us even. Like, you knew I wasn't coming out on corner kicks and indoor. I
Right.
was staying on the line. That's where I was staying every single time, no matter what. And occasionally I get beat because of it. But for the most part, I didn't. And you guys knew you had to win the ball.
Yeah.
And it worked well. It worked well. You knew it was going to happen. You knew also if they got a clean header, I was probably getting to it.
Right.
Yeah, it just do you think it's a whole season project for Chelsea, or do you
Yeah, I mean, Tammy Abraham, Kurt Zuma, Mason Mount, none of them have been given a chance at this level. It's Christian Pulisic's first time in this league. Willian is getting older. I don't think he knows what his best midfield is because sometimes Kovacic is in there, sometimes it's Jorginho. Well, most of the time it's Jorginho, but sometimes he's tried to rest him. Conte's the only one that's always in there.
Yeah.
To be honest, and I don't know that he knows that third cog.
It's midway
Because sometimes it's Ross Barkley, sometimes it's Kovacic, sometimes it's somebody you don't know. I don't think he really knows what his best midfield three are. That third piece, at least.
I feel like
what
he's
that is.
midway. I feel like he's midway through the year. Not
No,
necessarily.
he should
Frank.
know. Yeah, but I don't think he does.
No, I'm not talking about Frank. I'm talking about the players. I
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
I feel like the light switch should have gone off by now. That a game like what just happened with Newcastle
Shouldn't have happened.
shouldn't be fucking happening.
Right.
I will say I had a great time this weekend as all three of us went to hang out at Salancha in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And before we left, we let the sorry there, I bumped into your computer. We let all of the Chelsea supporters take the booth that we were sitting in. We were going to hang out, and I was thinking about maybe hanging out for the rest of the match. I'm really fucking glad I didn't, because I would not have wanted to see those guys fucking melt down after that goal, because I guarantee you
Especially after
they
they've been
lost
sitting there
their
drinking.
shit.
They've been drinking the whole match and most of the day, and bam.
Well, they were most of them were there for the 10 o'clock game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they put a right
Had to
proper
be
drink in.
Oh yeah.
pissed.
I had a bit of a sesh on Saturday.
Yeah. So my session, I was after doing everything, I figured I'm going to come back home, probably pass out for a little while.
Oh, no. Listen to this shit.
Maryland game was on, so I kept drinking.
Uh-huh.
Because why not? And then brother-in-laws and my stepbrother went, my stepbrother, and
No.
her brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law and brother-in-law.
Okay, brother-in-laws. I'm just trying to. They don't listen, so it doesn't matter. Wanted to do game night.
Fucking
so,
cousins, who
so they
cares?
came on over. They came on over, and Daddy kept drinking. So pretty much drank whiskey from 10 o'clock in the morning until 1 o'clock in the morning.
So I got you beat then.
Okay.
I went from 10 a.m. when I was with you guys, walked up to brunch, 4 or 5 mimosas there, then went into bowling. I did only have one beer at bowling. I couldn't muscle any more down. However, I did forget my credit card there.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Then went to, after bowling, where'd we go? Oh, we went home and got home. Everybody else took a nap. Tegan wanted to have a friend over.
You need to drink to make sure that hit goes okay.
Well, so I had a beer or two just during the day sitting on the couch while they ran ragged through the house.
Uh-huh.
And then somebody else took the kid home. I couldn't bear to do it. And then Kira
Yeah.
came over, and me and her were up till 4 in the morning. Everybody else went to bed about 2, and then me and her stayed up just shooting the shit. And to the point where I couldn't keep my eyes open sitting at the kitchen table any longer, and I poured half a beer down the sink.
Fabulous.
It was terrible. I could barely muster the strength to walk her to her car at 4 in the morning in Baltimore City.
It was from that 10 to 1 run. All whiskey.
Oh, no. See, I switched to beer.
I went
switched to beer.
strong. All right.
After the bubbly.
Let's get back to the games. Leicester got Burnley.
Yeah.
Leicester got Burnley.
Got properly Burnley. An OG performance from
yeah,
Burnley.
and
Since everybody else seems to be emulating them lately.
Nick Pope, stand up and be counted, fucking son.
I'd watch
Woo!
your back. Jamie Vardy may be coming at you with a shiv
Wow.
for saving his penalty. Now, he had a hell of a game.
Saved that penalty clean, too. Knew where he was going, and
yeah.
clean save.
Now, I'd worry about Leicester a bit, though. This is the second week in the row they took the lead. This time was through Harvey Barnes. But second week in the row they took the lead and ended up dropping all 3 points.
2-1 nothing leads, 2-2-1 losses.
Yep.
Yeah.
The chicken was wondering, is Pope single?
Ben Mee got on the end of a corner, which was good. Put his header back across the face of goal, and Chris Wood was the first to react to it. And then all that hard work pretty much blew up in Ben Mee's face as he gave away a penalty on 66 in a defender's version of a dive, claiming it was just a coming together. It was just a simple, our legs just got tangled. I didn't foul him.
He fouled him.
Definite penalty.
He definitely fouled him.
I have been in that position. I have made the same claims, and it almost always falls on deaf ears. And then Nick Pope obviously saved it. And then Ashley Westwood got the go-ahead goal following a very poor Johnny Evans clearance that only went as far as the corner of the box. And Ashley Westwood took that chance fantastically.
Yeah. So
And good on him. I think he's been injured a lot this season. I haven't seen much out of him, to be fair.
Leicester still sitting pretty comfortably in third place.
Yeah, because everybody else behind them keeps losing. I mean, Chelsea is only in fourth because nobody else can win on the same weekends they lose.
Leicester drop a couple more, and suddenly you're back in the discussion. And God forbid,
falling out of the Champions League places. Yeah, absolutely.
God forbid your team goes on a 3-game run.
Yeah, well, God has forbade it, apparently.
All of a suddenly, or let's say Tottenham figures out how to score some goals and goes on a 3 or 4 game run.
They won't.
Man United lost to Watford, lost to Liverpool, but for the most part, they're not losing.
No, they played well.
They're not losing. So suddenly you could, like I said last week, we may see Manchester United in 3rd or 4th place and go, how in the fuck did that happen? And I guarantee you their supporters will be like, wow, that's great. We still are a fucking mess. It just...
And the worst part is Poch obviously is being touted as a replacement for Ole in the summer.
Yeah, but if Ole gets him to Champions League, you can't fire him. You cannot fire him.
Exactly.
You can't.
So what do? Right? That's the question. They may miss out on Pochettino because it looks like Guardiola may be coming towards the end of his tenure. He's never stayed anywhere very long.
No.
Except Barcelona. So it could be coming towards the end of his tenure, especially the way this is going. You could see him leave as early as this summer. I think it may be next summer.
I think it all depends on Champions League. If he wins a Champions League, he'll probably dip out.
That could be.
That's all he wants. He wants a Champions League. He wants a Champions League with somebody other than Barca.
Right. Well, if he ends up winning the Champions League and then leaving, even if he doesn't win the Champions League and he leaves, either way, if Pochettino comes in, I'll love watching him get to the final and fail again.
Yeah.
That'll be fantastic.
Why can't Spurs score?
Harry Kane.
No
Harry Kane.
But you've got Dele Alli, you've got Son, everybody's favorite girl next door.
Oh, he's so adorable, Son.
Son can't figure out how to put his chipping wedge away.
And Lucas Moura. I mean, you've got guys who can put the ball in the back of the net. Why can't they score?
Because they're not consistent goal scorers. I mean, Son is, but he needs a point man. He doesn't have one. He does. There are moves he finishes off counterattacking wise.
Yeah.
But typically it's a Harry Kane knockdown or a 1-2 with Harry Kane that he puts away. Now he's being asked to do the main role, and he's not doing it very well.
Moura or Son would rather be on the outside. Dele Alli would rather be off the striker.
Exactly.
Moura's kind of playing the striker because he has to.
Exactly. And it's not going well for them. And to be honest, Harry Kane has had a major injury now in each of the last 3 seasons. He's going to be out till at least the end of March. They had to have surgery on a hamstring.
Right.
So who knows how long it's going to take him to get fit after that. England should be worried about the Euros and trying to do everything they can. I think Gareth Southgate's been in touch with Jamie Vardy to come out of retirement for it.
If I was Vardy, I'd tell him to fuck himself.
Yeah, probably did.
Yeah.
I think Vardy wants to be a number 1. Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
But Tammy's playing very well as well, and Vardy's 31. I think you can't, as England, go into the Euros with Tammy Abraham as your number one.
No, you can't.
I think you need an experienced player. I think Vardy could be that player that if you can guarantee him that he'll start, and then introduce Tammy if you need to, that's a better way to go. And you keep the kid without the weight of England on his shoulders because he's going to have it. And then maybe you bring Harry Kane along as a third choice because he is a damn good striker.
Hell, my kid could maybe see some time leading up to the Euros. He's scoring enough.
Yeah.
Calvin Lewin, like maybe get a couple of friendlies in. Wow, we are going long. Actually, this was a rather entertaining game. Considering it was 0-0.
Yeah, Gazaniga and Foster played their parts in this game for sure. I mean, there were a couple of decent chances, and both of them came up big.
Decore lucky to still be on the pitch. He had
after kneeing Harry Winks.
He could have gotten four yellow cards, and I think he got one.
That for me was the most exciting part of the game.
Yeah.
And then Alderweireld really trying to get involved, defending Harry Winks like he was his little brother.
Yeah.
That was cute. But that fight was for me the most exciting part with that coming together between Winks and Decore. And then Ignacio Pusetto with the goal line clearance.
Yeah.
Denying, to be honest, I forgot who took the shot.
Literally
a millimeter.
Yeah, a millimeter of room.
Yep, but that's why you play to the whistle, man.
Yep, precisely.
That's why you play to the whistle.
And hey, actual technology that fucking works, unlike VAR.
Very
know?
fucking true.
No.
Very true.
Watford's just playing tough. I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to.
Yep.
Pearson's got him fighting every single week, in and out, and they're probably going to figure out a way to survive because of it. Rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened. Wolverhampton 3, Southampton 2, Manchester City 2, Crystal Palace, their bogey team 2, Villa 1, Brighton 1, Everton 1, West Ham 1, Arsenal 1, Sheffield 1. Big win for the Wolves, considering down 2-0
at halftime too. Yeah.
Yeah, that all things. By the way, let's. This is legitimately all these games are very so that happened. So we're going to keep it quick.
Do you know who Jan Bednarek is?
Not off the top of my head.
Me either. Scored the first goal for Southampton, and then Shane Long popped up and for this one goal every 30-odd matches from a header. Then the fucking wheels came off. Southampton outpossessed and outshot Wolves, but on the day collapsed under the pressure. Pedro Neto, good control from across from Adama Traore, again involved in another goal. I think he may be involved in more goals than anyone overall. I think he leads the league in assists, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. But I think he leads the league in assists. Adama Traore. Anyway, good feat from Neto to find composure and then find the back of the net. An ill-advised tackle, to say the least, from Stevens gave Wolves a penalty, which Jimenez dispatched expertly. And finally, Traore, again, winning a ball on halfway, found Jimenez, and Jimenez with a good cutback. And then found Jimenez with a good cutback, sorry. Lovely side-footed effort. That was that.
City, bogey, to Palace. By the way, Palace right now, 100 million. Tosun, go ahead. We'll sell him right now.
Yeah.
Take him. He's a goal scorer. Bonafide.
Swap for Zaha.
Bonafide right now. Take him. Just take him. He's yours. Have him.
Good for him to score.
Oh, very good.
That was excellent. Kind of a little bit of a dig at you guys in the post-match.
Yeah, it's
nice to have people around me that work hard or whatever he said.
Yeah, well,
that's definitely a dig.
Well, of course, it was before Ancelotti took over.
Right.
That he played most of his football this season.
He was talking about Silva directly. He was when he threw his shot at the coaching staff. It was Silva he threw his pot shot at.
Uncharacteristically inefficient from Manchester City. 25 shots, but only 6 on target.
Yeah.
And it took them 82 minutes to find the opener.
Well, and then they went to 2-1 up because that game was on at the same time as we were watching the Everton, West Ham, and Sheffield Arsenal matches, and it was just like, okay, there you go, game over. Not so fast.
Nope, Fernandinho with a fine finish.
Yes. Too bad it was in the wrong goal.
He tried to go shoulder to shoulder with Connor Wickham and just kind of bounced off of him, which unsettled his feet, threw him off balance, and Wilfred Zaha's cutback for Wickham ended up carooning off of Fernandinho, and like side netting on the far side. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Love seeing that
So
when it doesn't happen to us.
all right, moving on to the next one. Villa, big, gutsy, get a point on the road while you're down 1-0.
And starting
This-
with the pensioner, Pepe Reina in net
This
back in the Premier League.
I'm calling him. Is he Spanish?
Yes.
Spanish Howard.
Spanish Tim Howard?
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
looks like Tim Howard. So I've
Little
been calling
bit.
him Spanish Howard.
I'll give you that. He's a lot less chiseled. And a lot.
I mean, we still have time.
she just kept going. Spanish Howard made a save. Spanish Howard made another save.
Spanish Howard made a gaffe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which he did. I think he should have done better for that goal. It was a pretty difficult angle from Trossard that he put that away, but he did well. But Reina, had he maybe 3 years ago, maybe 3 years younger, he would have been able to get down to that. And then Brighton didn't capitalize on any subsequent opportunity, and then
no,
Mr.
they had a lot.
lot.
They were down there. I was nervous most of that game.
And then Mr. Grealish, Mr. Aston Villa
Fucking
himself,
Captain Jack.
he is single-handedly trying to keep them in the Premier League.
Oh yeah.
You know what?
Top goal scorer and top assist person on.
That
Think
On
how
Aston
great it
Villa.
would be if we had 2 more players like Jack.
that is exactly the kind of result that keeps you up. That's
Yeah.
that is a go to a tough place to a team that's playing not necessarily in form because they still haven't won in January yet, but you go in there, you go down to them, you figure out a way to get a point. That's fucking huge. Now what's big for them is their next match, which is Watford, where they got to play a team that's figured it out and has been playing very gutsy and really tough, and you got them at home. You need to win that game. That switches you in the standings. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
to win that game.
All
Absolutely.
that matters is this is hashtag no Malört Monday.
For any
Yes,
of
as
us.
we go into the next game.
Well, real quick,
yes.
for as lucky as Trossard got that Pepe Reina fucked up, despite it being near post, I don't think Matt Ryan had any chance on Grealish's half volley.
Oh, no.
He caught that as clean as you can
Oh,
catch
he
a
ripped
ball.
it.
Yeah, lucky he didn't put a hole in the back of the net. Sorry,
Um,
I just got to give
no
him
problem.
props, and that was with his bad foot too.
No problem. You can go ahead and cross out Everton and West Ham because I'm going to handle the analysis on that, Sam, so you don't even get an opinion.
But I bet on it though.
No.
Theo Walcott fucked me.
Okay, very good. Theo Walcott fucked you. We'll get to that in prediction time because we're running long. Very simple. Both teams scored from set pieces. Both keepers made some saves. If ever there was a game that is oh-so that happened that could ever oh-so happen and oh-so that happened, it was our game. And you know what? That's all we're going to talk about it because that's all it fucking deserves. Arsenal versus Sheffield.
About the same.
I got this from
Two deflections.
real quick from Northern Maryland. Our friend Rush chimes in. He says, Sam, I'd like to know your opinion on the fact that Allison has as many assists as Ozil. Please pontificate.
Well, half of that was Ozil hasn't played the season until Arteta's come in, really. He got, 3 games under Emery this season? It wasn't a lot of time for him to get an assist. Just saying.
A goalkeeper has the same number of assists as your number 10 playmaker.
Look at their appearances on the season.
Okay. Just saying.
Allison's played all but 6 games. Ozil's played 5.
One stands at the defensive end of the field and uses his hands.
It has
The other
3
one is-
speedsters up front that do what they want. Fuck the rest of the league. They do what they want. And we had a person in charge that insisted on playing out of the back despite having nope, I'm not going to make that joke. Despite having less than stellar defenders that lack the necessary quality to do that style of football.
All right, do you have anything else to say other than you picked your team to tie and it happened and you're not doing a shot of Malord?
Yeah, I have to say that your team fucking blows balls because I picked you to win and you didn't. I also have to say, Chris, you're fucking welcome, son.
It's time to tell you what little we know. It is prediction time.
I'm going to get mine out of the way. Fuck all that.
Hold on. Pat won a couple in a row now. I'm back to winning ways because I just picked my guy to score in the game. I didn't pick him to actually win. And Kitty is slipping back to under 500, and you lose yet again. So you're at minus 1787. I believe you said I made a mistake in admin.
You
though?
did.
Okay.
It was a Thursday game while you were out of town, I think.
Okay.
And I picked Palace. I wrote it in your little black book there.
Okay.
I picked Palace, I think, over West Ham, actually.
Okay.
And it came in. And that was like a $230 bet.
I think I did that, and then you missed one, so you only got 130. But I will double check.
Double check.
I'm not doing it right now, but I will
that's fine.
double check.
The statement you made was you pick games that win hundreds of dollars, and I've won a total of 35. That was not true.
Okay.
That's all I was saying. I've won over 130 this
I
this
pick
year.
games, multiple games. You pick one
Two.
game. One game.
Two, Dick. I've
All
picked
right.
two.
So go ahead.
All right. So anyway,
Feed the couple losers, loser.
for screwing Chris last week, I picked your team playing Chris's West Ham this week, so they did get a point out of the match.
And still screwed Chris.
And still, well, screwed me, but Chris at least got a point instead of losing all three. So there you go. And then Theo Walcott, of course, with his multiple chances, shit a fucking brick. This week, I am going to pick a little parlay.
Of course you are.
Southampton to beat Palace away, and Leicester to get back to winning ways against West Ham at home. Plus 300 on a $100 bet. But because I'm falling further and further fucking behind, I'm going to risk 200 on this game. So my winnings would be 600.
Okay.
Should I who's kidding? Oh, I'm going to just lose $200.
Yeah, you are. So let's go ahead and talk about.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
So if any of you are new to the show, because we did meet some people over the week, Pat's a degenerate. He gambles on everything. When we had him here live on our show to talk about gambling, he was betting college basketball games while the show was going on. So we let him pick games every week. He typically tries to pick like a primetime matchup. So like the game that will be on regular NBC. So like the 12 o'clock game on a Saturday, which isn't always the easiest game to pick, but he always tries to pick the one that he knows the crowds will see. Being that it's the midweek, he can't necessarily do that. So he said, the midweek blues. All right. When you win back-to-back weeks, that's what we call a streak. So let's keep it up and get to even this week. I hate it, but I'm going to pick Tuesday's primetime match of Arsenal at Chelsea. The Gunners haven't won at the Bridge in 8 straight matches. Maybe that'll change. I'm going to put 100 on the Gunners at a plus half goal at plus 105. So he is picking you to win, Sammy.
That's dumb.
Okay.
That's dumb.
Well, I am back to winning ways.
Our
And-
top score's out still.
Okay.
Well, it's just not going to happen.
I'm back to winning ways, and I'm now only down $567. So I have turned the corner.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
20% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
And now that table's pregnant. he just did like air humps and stuff.
He was thinking about Mo Salah at the time.
Sammy,
Yes.
I'm betting your game too.
Oh Christ!
I'm
I
actually
might actually win for the week.
I'm taking the under. It's at
That's a safe bet.
2.5. I'm taking the under, and that will net plus 125. Right now, just want to chip away at the small deficit I have, unlike your triple size deficit of mine.
Hold on. You
Just a
said the
little
under's at 2.5.
Under's at 2.5.
Okay, so 2 goals or less.
Yeah, 2 goals or
total
less.
total goals.
I
right?
see 1-1 or 2-0 or 1-0. I don't see anything. I don't see a 2-1.
All right.
Yeah, I see it.
To be honest, it's probably fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately I kind of see a 2-0 Chelsea just because you guys can't score on the road unless it's Aubameyang.
Well, Aubameyang's out. I mean, Lacazette hasn't really done much. He's worked hard, but he hasn't really
right.
done anything. Martinelli took 6 chances to score against Sheffield.
Yeah.
Only 2 of which he actually put on target. Pepe still struggling to find the goals. I don't see it either. The only thing that may help us is fucking Chelsea is misfiring at the moment.
Yeah.
But the last time they
but-
scored more than 2 or more in a game was the one against us.
Yeah, but every time they misfire, they turn around and then they look like world beaters. It's
Right.
they're
Our
so
defense is shite enough that
they are so impossible to figure out. So that's a really great segment, but we give you more. We send Melissa up to the top of the hill every week to chat with Kitty, who likes to pick games. She fills us in on her life and lets us know all about what's going on. And most importantly, she's a chicken.
He got a little sassy with that intro there, didn't he?
A little bit.
I was like just
There's
watching him going.
Potentially
going.
some new listeners. I wanted to make sure they understood the brevity of this segment.
So we have a chicken and she gets around. And she picks games. That's the segment. So this week, I went up to the coop to visit Kitty, and she had a pretty good weekend with the NFL. So she may have slipped below 500, but she's good with the bookies. So this week, I gave her Norwich.
Norwich.
Not.
Nope.
She's trying to throw some
Definitely
like
not
New Orleans like swang on it. Notch.
Not traveling to Tottenham. Now, Kitty immediately ran into the coop, pulled out her iPad, and showed me a YouTube of her and Steve Nash at a taping of the Jerry Springer Show.
Basketball great Steve Nash. Also, great soccer player. Well, football player. And avid Spurs supporter, I think, isn't he?
Owns part of the team, from what I know.
Yeah.
I believe Jerry Springer is also a Spurs supporter.
No
I
shit.
knew Maury was better.
Yeah.
So
I knew I liked Maury more.
that tells us that Kitty is going with Tottenham on this one.
Nice. Okay. She likes the Spurs here.
And as always, everyone, remember to gamble legally and responsibly.
Pat, that means you too. We actually played pretty well, although we were playing a team that already played a game that night, and the team we were supposed to play did no show up.
Yeah, so basically a forfeit.
Yeah, so we, on paper, won 3-0, but in actuality, with the game that we played, won 6-2, was it?
6-3.
6-3.
They got one right at the end.
Yeah, but we played really well. There were still some stray passes. There were still some legs that went, but Drunkard United rides again. Oh, by the way, for all the potential new listeners, this is the segment where we talk about our adult league team that I still play for, Sam used to play for, but now coaches and just yells at other grown men.
And you let him.
Because
we let him do it.
Because I want to
yeah.
fill the emptiness that's left inside of me from not being able to play anymore.
And then despite our results, whatever happens, we go drink in the old parking lot.
Excessively.
Yep.
The parking lot.
Do you guys drink more after a win or after a loss?
Equal amounts.
Equal. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really
But
all
we have
depends on the conditions. If it's a nice night out, it doesn't, like, we can lose 16-1 and we're like, oh, these 2 30-packs aren't making it.
Nope.
Like,
It also depends now. A lot of us have children, responsibilities. All of us
Yeah.
have real jobs. It's hard to, at a 7 p.m. game is fine. We're out there
Yeah.
drinking. Our matches begin anytime between 7 and 11. So you get that 11 o'clock game, and work looks hard the next
Yeah,
day.
it does.
So we have one beer and leave. That 7 p.m. game, we're fucking riding.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that about wraps it up, boys and girls. Sammy, any parting words?
Welcome to anybody new that's listening, one of which could possibly be one of or both of the Tranmere youth team coaches.
Absolutely. Had fun chatting with those boys.
Yeah, with Danny and Matt. It was a pleasure meeting you guys. A pleasure meeting everybody this weekend. It was a lot of fun. Chris, I love you, buddy. You know I just give you shit because I care. And I think that's it. Oh, a couple weeks to go before my riveting transfer recap.
Yep. Oh, just to recap, we were at Solancha in Baltimore. Sam also made sure at halftime to swing by the Abbey right next door to say hello to all the West Ham, Baltimore, Maryland Hammer supporters
Yes.
there. Big shout out to JT with the Baltimore Toffees for being so accommodating and welcoming and welcoming us into the home
JT
bar.
was cool. He's a clever little guy.
Yeah, funny dude.
And just fun, yeah. Just
Yeah.
a fun cat.
Bunch of City fans, bunch of Chelsea fans. Chelsea, you guys were there in full force. Credit to you.
For a game against Newcastle.
Yeah, good Arsenal crowd there as well. A few Southampton fans. It was a lot of fun, and thank you for being so
And one
welcoming.
And some Arsenal fans.
lonely.
Remember, we met Mr. Jose in person.
Oh, yeah.
as well.
Yep.
A regular contributor to the Facebook.
Absolutely, does a great job.
Also, once you like us on Facebook, that brings up a great point, Sam. A good segue here. Once you like our show Facebook page, you'll be able to find the closed Facebook group. So at Football Show on Facebook, find it, like it, and then search Drunkard United FC. That's DRUNKARD
Wow.
United Football Show.
English is fun.
Or United, fuck off. Drunkard United FC, and then apply to be in that. We pretty much accept everybody.
That was harder than me trying to say
I know.
masochist.
God damn. All right. I'm done.
People in
Good
glass
night,
houses.
everybody. Good night, everybody.
No, yeah, thank you again, everybody. It's a lot of fun. Next up is we're going to do Injury Time, where we preview the next week's games. You can check that out. How, Sam, on Patreon?
www.patreon.com/DUfootballshow. Patreon is PATREON.
And that's
Are you
just
sure?
Yes.
just more show, another pretty much 45 minutes to an hour of a whole nother show. And then also, everybody, bonus show this week, FA Cup preview, since the weekend gives us the FA Cup, and that'll get posted on Thursday. So
Yep. And the Patreon also gets you the sound check.
absolutely.
So-
We're not just shilling for cash. We actually give you content in return. So
Yeah.
till next week, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Pretty much have carte blanche to flat out just fucking scream at each other. Like, you could be in a dead sleep and like Mel will be